Okay, we are recording.
Right. Are you sitting right where are you sitting?
I'll sit in the back.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. Happy Saturday morning. I'm so glad y'all are here. I'm Brittney. I'm pretty sure I know everybody in here. So, but if you're watching the recording, I'm Brittney Howard. I'm a diamond, and we are here to learn about how to create business builders. So, obviously, that is what is going to grow your business the fastest, right? With network marketing, it's a little bit different than direct sales because there is actually a difference. Direct sales, it really is about how much product you can push. In network marketing, we do sell products, we are in sales, but it's not just about sales. It's about how far you can help others be successful. So what the goal is to build a team, and Plexus makes that very easy for us because when people purchase a wholesale membership, they don't have to be interested in working a business, right, to get the membership, but that's how you rank up in Plexus. When you sell wholesale memberships, they save money and you get points, and with our comp plan, that's how you rank up, okay? So the goal is to have as many wholesale members as humanly possible. And the fact, if you have, I think, let's just say Emerald. Emerald is 1,500 points, so what is that divided by 5? 300 people, right? So if you had 300 people actively ordering, that is levels 1 through 3. That would be a six-figure income and a Plexus Lexus and a luxurious trip to Hawaii or Mexico every year. And it's a good life. So it's a good goal to aim for. 300 people actively ordering at one time. That's Emerald. And then Sapphire is 3,000 points. So what is 3,000 divided by 5? Anybody intelligent in the area of math in here? 600 people? Okay. So yeah, that makes sense because 3,000 is double of 1,500. All right, so and then if you're going to be diamond, that's 900 people actively ordering. 900. There's 6 billion people on the planet. You only need about 900 to be diamond. Average income for a diamond is $20,000 a month. Actually, I think it's $30,000 a month. So anyways, I don't know. It's like a lot of thousands at that point. So it varies significantly. But 900 people actively ordering in your organization, that's really hard to do by yourself, right? So the quickest way to do that is to have other people doing that with you. And in order for you to get people to want to do that with you, you have to talk to them about the opportunity that's available to them. Because if you could get 900 people actively ordering on your team and make $30,000 a month, then that means they could too, right? And so when you're talking to people or when you're looking at people, you have to look at them in terms of what would $30,000 a month do for this person and their family, their life? What would their life look like? And so that's what I had in mind. When I was a silver ambassador, I wasn't thinking about $30,000 a month, but my goal was Emerald. I didn't know anyone personally who made $10,000 a month. I didn't know, at least I didn't know that I did, if I did. So to me, that was like a huge amount of money, $10,000 a month. I was like, wow, that would really change everything for my family. And it did. And I was able to accomplish that in 1 year of working really, really hard. Okay. And so that means that you could too, if you're focusing on the right activities, then you can do the same thing. Okay, so network marketing, it's not, you don't have to have any kind of it factor. There's not any one thing in network marketing that makes somebody successful. It's really just a matter of you being willing to learn the skills and get good at it. It's simply a set of skills. Anybody can learn the skills. Anybody can get good at it. And so that's what I decided to do. So I saw the opportunity because we have amazing products. We have products that everybody needs. We have consumable products that everybody needs. I mean, there's other companies out there that have products people need. Everybody needs leggings, right? That feel like butter. Everybody needs that, but it's not consumable. So how many leggings does one person need? None. Not true. Not true. So if that's funny you say that, because Tim Hawkins actually made a YouTube video about men wearing leggings, and then he actually tried on a pair, and then he quit judging the women because he understood. He understood. So anyways, yeah, and we'll make a great live, Kent. Just saying, good content. Yeah, okay. Anyways, now that everybody's picturing Kent looking like Peter Pan. So was I saying? Learn the skills. Oh, products, consumable products. Okay, so that is another thing that makes our opportunity special is that people need our products and people also need our products every 30 days. So that means you do work one time and you continue to get paid for it, okay? So do that 900 times diamond. Ready? I mean, everybody ready? Let's go. Yes, all right. So let's talk about how to do this though, because it is definitely not as easy as it sounds. It really is a simple business. It's not complicated what we do. The actions that we do that make us tons of money, it's very, very simple, but it's not easy because it requires you to be uncomfortable. And when I'm talking to other people in the company who are extremely successful, oftentimes we look at our paychecks. I'm not even kidding. Every month on the 15th, Christina will call me laughing and she'll be like, I think somebody made a mistake. They put this much money in my bank account. I don't know if they know me, but I don't think I make that much money. So we're just scratching our head wondering why everybody doesn't want to do this. Because in retrospect, it only took us a few years to do it. It felt hard while we were doing it. But now that we look back, we're like, it really wasn't that hard. What's hard? Being broke is hard. Mm-hmm. Being sick is hard, okay? Being a diamond, not hard, okay? Getting to diamond feels hard, but when you look back, I promise you, you will think, I'm glad that pushed me. I'm glad that challenged me. I'm glad that I grew through that. I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. So it's not a matter of if you can do this, because anybody can, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. And that is what most people are not. So anybody could be a diamond, but most people won't, because this is the fact. If there's an it factor, this is it. Willing to be out of your comfort zone. Most people are addicted to their own comfort, or they don't dream big enough. Okay, so that's not you guys, because there's a million things you could be doing on a Saturday morning besides sitting in a training. But you guys are here to learn on a Saturday morning. That means you're dreamers and you're willing to get uncomfortable. So it starts with vision. If you're going to create business builders, it always, always, always starts with your own vision. You are not going to attract people to something that you don't even have yourself. And I'm not saying you have to be a diamond to attract diamonds. I'm saying that you have to believe you're going to be a diamond in order to take other people to diamond with you. And that's been true from the beginning for me. Not that I always thought I could be a diamond, but I saw the vision and I definitely believed in other people's potential. Even if I didn't always believe in my own, I could look at somebody else and say, man, she's amazing. If she just decided to do this, I could totally see it. She reminds me of that diamond, or that diamond, or that diamond. And I just know if she decided to do this, she would be one. And so that belief in people, it started with my own vision of what this opportunity could mean for somebody's life. So I just was always bold in sharing that. And I'm not gonna say I was not concerned about what people thought, because there were times where I thought that she gonna think I'm crazy. But I didn't care enough to not share, because it's worth it to, right? I feel like it's similar to talking about Jesus, right? Because everybody needs Jesus. And if they don't, there's consequences for that. If they don't know Jesus, there's consequences. And so sometimes it requires me to be uncomfortable if I was going to share the gospel with people, but I'm willing to do it because I care about that person. And I have to not think about myself so much. I need to be focused on the other person and what their needs are. If I'm sitting there worried about what they're going to think of me, what are the consequences for them, right? And so the business opportunity is the same way. So if you are recruiting people, if you have zero problem selling these products and you have people coming into your organization left and right, but nobody wants to work the business with you, that usually means you're not talking to people about the business. If you can sell the products, you can also sell the opportunity. The principles are exactly the same, but most of the time what I find is that people think, oh, I'm going to sell a bunch of products and people are just going to love the products. And then they're going to just organically start sharing, and then they're going to have an accidental business, and then we're all going to be at the top of the company in Hawaii every single year. And that's generally not how it works. I would say about 1% of the time that's how it works. Sometimes you will have somebody who loves the products and they can't stop talking about it. And so they start sharing, and then they just see their bank account growing, and they call you and they're like, why is my bank account growing? I'm just telling people about products that I love. But I'm just here to tell you that's not usually the process. So I want to give you realistic expectations, because if that's your expectation, you're going to be disappointed. How it normally works is you talk to people about the opportunity and then you follow up Most people cannot conceive of themselves doing something like this at first. How long did your sponsor have to follow up with you? How many posts did you see? How long did you watch before you ever made a decision that you were going to pursue this opportunity? For most of you, it wasn't the first time you heard about it, okay? So the process is you hear about it, and then you hear about it again, and then you hear about it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different verses, same song, right? And then eventually you make a decision. And marketers know this, right? This is why you hear the same commercial over and over and over and over and over, because generally it's 8 to 12 exposures on average before someone will make a decision. That applies to our products. You guys know you have to follow up about the products. Everybody's going to join at some point. At some point, everybody joins, right? I'm just picking at Heather because we've known Heather for years, and now here she is, and we're glad you're here. And then same with Jana. Jana, I've met her at TCP, followed up with her for several years, and she also, now she's a senior Ruby on my team. So everybody does join at some point. Everybody that you know, I don't care how many times they say no. I don't care how many times they say I'm not interested. They're all going to join you at some point if you follow up. And if you don't, they join someone else. It happens every time, I'm telling you. I mean, there's a select few people out there that might hate network marketing. That's not most people. Haters are gonna hate. Those are not the people you're trying to convince. Those are not even the people you probably want on your team. Okay, let them just be right, and you go be rich. So anyways, they all join at some point. All of them do. And with the opportunity, the principles are the same. 8 to 12 exposures. So when somebody says, well, I have all these people on the product, I don't have any silvers on my team. Nobody wants to work the business. And I'm like, well, have you talked to everybody about the business? Yeah, I talked to all of them. Have you talked to all of them between 8 and 12 times each? Well, no, I probably haven't done that. Okay, well, that's probably why. So that's usually the process. So realistic expectations, 8 to 12 exposures. And I don't just mean, hey, you ready to work business yet? Hey, I got an opportunity for you. Hey, guess how much money you can make? I mean, varying the exposures. There is a skill set behind the way you do this. There's a right way to do this and a pushy way to do this. And we want you guys doing it the right way, in a way that connects with that person and what their needs are and is others focused, okay? But just know that there is a process behind it. So if you don't have your team blowing up with business builders yet, just know that could be why. One, are you talking to every single person about the opportunity? Every single person that joins your team. Do not prejudge anybody, because you don't know what's going on in somebody's personal life that they haven't shared, that they're embarrassed to talk about. You don't know what's going on. You have not. Brooke Hemingway, she's an RN married to a physician, and she did not, from the outside looking in, look like she needed an opportunity. She just looked like she was happy and successful in life, had plenty of money, didn't need an opportunity. Definitely not something like this. Well, what people didn't know is that they had hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. I mean, when you're in med school, that's not cheap, right? And that also, she never saw her husband because he was a physician. And now he works part-time hours. She's a diamond. She's also another, that she's double diamond, and her husband's a diamond, okay? And what if her sponsor had prejudged her? What if her sponsor thought she doesn't need an opportunity? There's no way she'd ever want to do something like this. Don't prejudge anybody. You let them make their own decisions. Your job is simply to share and educate. You let them make their own decisions. And then don't give up on people's potential. If you know that somebody would be crazy successful at this, if they decided to do this, then you have to be unwilling to give up on their potential. And I don't mean be pushy. I mean, it looks like this. Just complimenting them genuinely, and I mean genuinely, because people can tell the difference between flattery and a genuine compliment. People don't like flattery. Nobody likes that. They can sense it. It feels phony, not genuine, but people appreciate a compliment. So if you're good at connecting with people, and then you're good at having conversations, listening well, asking good questions, being interested in other people, then you should be able to identify a few pain points that this opportunity could solve for them. And then you should also have like this mental Rolodex of success stories in your mind of people that have done this successfully from all different walks and backgrounds of life, because jewels are not cookie cutters. Like, we have both genders who are crazy successful. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. It does not matter what your socioeconomic background is, what your profession is. It doesn't matter. We have successful people in this company from all different walks and backgrounds of life. And so if you have a mental Rolodex of stories, then when you are talking to somebody, then you can say, hey, you remind me of this person. And I just know if that person can do this, you can do this, because you have these qualities. You should be able to list off some qualities that you see in that person that makes you think you could totally do this and you could be successful at it. So the first thing I would look for is integrity, because that's the only thing that I can't really teach somebody. You got to have a desire to do the right thing. And if you don't have a desire to do the right thing, you're probably not somebody I want to build a business with, because it's not going to be long-term, right? So I want people with integrity. And I believe in Freedom Team, we have that, because we're kind of picky about who we're going to give a platform and who we're going to allow influence. So when you look around and you're on the calls, the Zooms, and you hear all of the people, they love the Lord, and they really do have a desire to do the right thing. And that's who we're looking for. We're looking for, not that people can't change, because they can, but integrity is definitely foundational. Okay. So, and then also, they need to have some sort of influence. If they don't have influence, they can build influence. So influence is not a deal breaker, but it certainly helps. And the other thing is, they need to be hungry for change. If you're hungry for change, you can do anything you want to do. But that really is the number one factor, is hunger for change. You have to be, if you're very comfortable in your life and you have no desire whatsoever to change anything, then what reason would you have to get out of your comfort zone? None, right? So hunger for change, you can go develop influence. That was me. I didn't know hardly anybody when I started my business. Most of the people that have joined me and started working this business with me on my team, I did not know them before I started my business. I knew very few people. My first 3 people were my mom, my mother-in-law, and a friend from church, none of which are still ordering at this point, right? And they're not even business builders on my team. So all the other ones, I met them after the fact. I did know Christina, like I knew of her, but we weren't friends, and we hadn't talked in 15 years. So you can build influence, because that I have done that, but it starts with hunger for change. Do they need change in their life? Okay. All right. So it also always starts with your vision, and then your willingness to talk to people about the opportunity, and your belief that they can do it, your belief that this is a viable opportunity, your belief in network marketing as an opportunity, that it is a viable business model, that everybody should be doing it. You should be scratching your head wondering why everybody's not, because it's very, very simple. Okay, so if you don't have vision, or you don't really believe in network marketing, or you have some kind of shame attached to it, then you will hesitate to talk to people about the opportunity, or you'll assume that that person's not interested. Or maybe you might assume that they already have plenty of money or whatever. I've never met somebody who has plenty of money who thinks they have enough money. I've never met anybody like that. So don't prejudge people. Strong belief. If you don't have that belief, the good news is you can build it. You can get it. I mean, you just have to be intentional about it. If you ask yourself, whenever you sit down to work and you're going to talk to somebody about the opportunity, what thoughts are coming up for you? Are you hesitating? And if you are, why? And where is that coming from? What are you believing about this that is keeping you from sharing about the opportunity? All right. So got to believe. Don't prejudge people. Be willing to follow up. Don't give up on people. Be familiar with what problems your opportunity solves for people. So this usually falls into 3 categories. It's either going to solve a money problem, it's going to solve a time problem, or a community problem. So what if somebody were to join your opportunity and start earning $10,000 a month? What problems is that going to solve for them? What is the money going to allow them to do? Money's not everything, but everything takes money. Everything you want in your life is going to cost money, right? Everything does. I mean, it's all, money is right up there with oxygen, y'all. It's important. I'm not saying you have to be rich or you're not going to be happy. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying money allows you a lot of opportunities and it allows you to do a lot more than you could if you don't have it. Okay. So we don't have guilt or a stigma attached to making more money or even making a lot of money, because I know that that's very common. People have some kind of guilt associated with that desire to make a lot of money. But I'm telling you, we've been able to do a lot of good. And you can too. So there shouldn't be any stigma or guilt attached to that. So what is that person's life going to look like? What's the money going to allow them to do? And you just have to share that with them. And if you're a good connector, I feel like creating business builders, 90% of it is simply good communication. Just being a good communicator, asking good questions and then listening. And that comes from being interested in other people. And if you're in a conversation with somebody and you're not asking them questions about themselves, you're not going to know that they have a full-time job, but they really would love to be a stay-at-home mom with their kids and not have to leave their kids or put their kids in daycare. You're not going to know that their heart's desire is to build an orphanage, or like a lot of the jewels in our company, they have actually funded a rescue home for sex trafficking victims. Like these are dreams that people give up on because they don't realize that it's possible. Most people think, I go to work every day, here's my wage, I might get an incremental raise every so often, I pay my bills, I get by, but that life is out of reach for me. Like the big stuff, that's for somebody else. I'll never be able to accomplish that. They don't realize that whatever their dream, their God-given dream is or was, it's possible. And so until somebody comes along and starts getting them to think like that and starts asking good questions, like if your bank account was full and your calendar was empty, what would you be doing with your time? If you ask good questions and then listen, you can identify what someone's pain point is or what their why is, why they would need this opportunity, what problems more money in their life could solve. Sometimes it's not a matter of having more money. Sometimes people join this opportunity, but they have plenty of money, but they have no time to enjoy it. I know very successful people who have oodles of money, and they have told me, Brittney, I have no time to even spend the money that I make because they work. And that's not freedom, right? So this opportunity allows you to make as much income as you want to make, but also the time and the freedom to enjoy that. And then also community. So this is a huge one that most people overlook. But we have so many people on our team that are really here more for the community than anything else. They're not super money driven. They have plenty of time. Their life, they're good with it, but they love personal development. But the thing is, you can get personal development anywhere. You really can. I mean, you can go to church and get personal development. You can read a book. You can listen to a podcast. You can listen to a TED Talk, whatever, get personal development and grow. But personal development combined with a community of other people who also love personal development and want to grow and change and improve and impact the world for good. I mean, that is rare. You don't find that often. And we have that, and it's really, really special. So I have some people on my team who are very successful, that they're not aspiring to be diamonds, but they show up every single week, every single book study, every single Monday night call, every single local event, every single convention, every single thing. They are there because they want to be surrounded by these types of people, the dreamers and the doers, right? And so don't forget about the community aspect, because that was one thing when I started that I had no idea I needed. I mean, I'm an introvert, but I realize now that it was a huge hole in my life. There was a void there. There were often times, and I had a great marriage, but I felt lonely. A lot of days I felt lonely. And now I don't have time to feel lonely. Now I'm like the opposite end of the spectrum. Okay, so just don't underestimate the power of community for people, because that is a huge aspect for a lot of people. Okay. All right, so you need to identify what problems your opportunity can solve for people. All right, now how to bring it up. So this is one thing that people get caught up on. They're like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to come across as overeager. I don't want to make them feel like they have to do this, or I'm not going to be their friend anymore, or that that's all I care about. So how do you bring it up? I think the best way to bring it up is, if you haven't already, by the time they order their products, get them on the phone to sign them up and walk them through the joining process. I always do this. Anytime I have somebody joining, I'm walking them through the website, everything. And that's for several reasons. First of all, I don't want them to run into any glitches and then not know how to fix it and then, change their mind, not order. So I want to make sure the process goes smoothly. Secondly, if they do decide to work the business, they need to understand how the website works, how the enrollment process flows, all that, okay? So duplication's sake, it's basically training right there, if I'm walking them through the process. And then also, after they have hit that enroll button and everything has gone through, the order has gone through, the screen pops up that says, congratulations, your order was a success, or you're welcome to Plexus, something like that. And so I will genuinely be excited for them, and I will say, I am so excited for you. Congratulations, you are officially an ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And I'm really, really glad that you're here. Cannot wait to see how these products play out in your life, all that stuff. And let me ask you this, if you love these products, would you be telling people about it? That is a very non-invasive question. It's not pushy. I'm just curious. See how non-threatening that feels? That does not feel like, hey, you should be a diamond now. That does not feel like, hey, let's build a business together. It's very simple. It's not pushy. And it's easy to say. If you loved these products, would you be telling people about it? I don't think I've ever had anybody say no to that question. Because here's the thing. People think they're not salespeople, but everybody is a salesperson. Everybody is. If you care about people, then you tell them something that's added value to your life, right? I mean, what's the first thing you do when you leave the movie theater and you just watch a really good movie? You're going to post about it. You're at least checking in on social media, and then you usually will say, oh my gosh, that was such a good movie. Or if you have a great shampoo that you love and somebody says, your hair smells so good, you're not going to not tell them, right? You're not going to keep a secret. If you care about somebody and something's added value to your life, then you naturally tell people about it. And a lot of times, then you're going to go and they're going to go buy something because they trust you, because you have integrity, and they're going to do what you suggested, right? And so everybody's a salesperson, even if they think that they're not, okay? And so being a salesperson, it doesn't mean that you're pushy. It just means you care about people. I mean, I would be like this with Jesus. I would be like this with a book I read. I mean, anything. A place that I went that I enjoyed, anything. Okay, a place that I shop where I can always find something that is perfect, whatever. So when you ask somebody that question, if you love these products, would you be telling people about it? They're on it. First of all, they don't live under a rock, okay? They know that there's an opportunity available. And if they haven't brought it up already, then it's because they have some kind of objection to it. And so your goal is to find out what that objection is. So when you ask this question, here's what's usually going to happen. Very rarely does somebody say, yes, I'm ready, like right now. I believe in the products. I see all the testimonies. I read all the science. I believe everybody needs this. I'm doing it. Gonna be a diamond tomorrow, and just off they go. Very rarely does that happen. 1% of the time, guys. I'm not saying it never happens, because sometimes it does. Sometimes people join for the business. They see us winning. They see us going on shopping sprees. They see us winning MacBooks. I mean, they see us doing things. We're having fun. We're enjoying our lives. Sometimes people join specifically for the business, but a lot of times they don't, and they have an objection to it. Okay, so this question will allow you to get to the root of that. So they might say something like, well, yeah, I probably would, but I'm just going to wait and see my own results first. And if I have my own results, then I'll be able to tell people about it, right? That's what I hear most of the time. And so this is going to show you what their objection is. And sometimes they might say, Yeah, but I just don't really know that many people. I don't know like who would do all my friends are broke. That's another one I hear sometimes. All my friends are broke. So you're going to hear what their objection is, and then you can handle the objection. So there's 3 main objections you're going to hear over and over and over about the opportunity, and you just get good at handling those 3. And the more you practice, the better you get at it, and it just becomes easier and easier. Okay, so it's not difficult, it's not complex. You just have to be willing to bring it up. So that's a good question to start with. Another one you could ask, if this is a person who you feel like you've spent a lot of time educating them on how our products work, and they're in the gut health and happiness page, and you know they've kind of scrolled through there and seen like a lot of different things people can help, the products can help people with, then you could bring it up by saying, so I'm sure at this point you have an understanding of like how the products work, and you've seen like different things it can help with. Who comes to mind for you that could benefit from this? Do not say, do you know anybody who could benefit from this? Because that's a yes or no question. And guess what their automatic response wants to be? Because of their objection, and you know it's not true, right? You know they know people, because that all the people that they know have guts, and we're a gut health company. So you know that they know people that could benefit from our products, but they have an objection. So their first response, if you say, do you know somebody that could benefit? That sounds salesy, but when you say, who do you know, you phrase it that way, then they can't, that names come to mind. So it's more effective to say, who do you know, rather than do you know somebody? All right, so that's a good question. Who do you know that struggles with XYZ? If you haven't spent a lot of time educating them on the products, then this is a good time to do that. You can just say, who do you know that struggles with autoimmune issues or skin problems like eczema or depression or mood disorders like anxiety or migraines? Who do you know that struggles with these issues? Just list off, five or so things that you know our products help people with, and see who comes to mind for them. Okay, so you got to be willing to bring it up, and these are great questions to be able to bring it up. All right, after you bring it up, then you need to avoid language that sounds like, I want you to build a business with me. Because most people are not on the market for a business. Most people are not like I said earlier, they're not dreaming big. They're in their lives and they're going through the motions, and they have a wage, and they just think, if I'm going to trade my hours for dollars, and if I want more dollars, then I'm going to put more hours in, right? Or I'll get a raise or whatever. Okay, so that's how most people think. So if you start talking about a business, a lot of people are just not entrepreneurial minded. But if you say things like, okay, well, your membership comes with a referral link. Referral link sounds way better than let's get you to silver. First of all, I don't have any clue what silver means. And also it sounds salesy. So don't use business type of language that they're not going to understand. Use vocabulary that makes sense and that it's like common verbiage. Everybody knows what a referral link is these days, right? Everybody has a referral program or a cash back program. Instead of saying silver, you could say Plexus gives you the opportunity to earn cash back. You get 3 people using your referral link, then you're going to earn $300 or whatever the incentives are for that month, okay? So that's better vocabulary to use that doesn't sound committal, I guess. Doesn't sound like they're jumping into a business right then, okay? So the next thing is handle their objections. So when you're asking these questions, like if you love these products, would you be telling people about it? Or who do you know that struggles with this? Or sometimes I will just flat out say, have you ever thought about doing something like this before? Sometimes I'll just say that. Have you ever thought about doing something like this before? Because with your referral link, you get cash back. Also, their objection comes up then. And it's usually, I'm not a salesperson, I don't have time, or I don't know a lot of people. That's usually the top 3 reasons that people think they could not do this or could not be successful at this. So real quick, handling objections, always use feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found was fill in the blank, okay? So this also works in marriage. This is just real good communication, okay? It works with parenting, because when you say, I understand how you feel, It's not like you're arguing with them. If you don't use feel, felt, found, and you try to convince them to come to your point of view, they feel like you're arguing with them, or they feel like you're trying to convince them. And nobody wants to be convinced or sold to. Okay, so have you guys heard that quote? A person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You're not going to convince unless you try to relate. So feel, felt, found allows you to connect and validate how they're feeling, and then offer a different perspective. But they're not going to receive your different perspective unless you also try to validate how they feel. Okay, so this is good communication skills. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found was, see how that's validating that, like, you're not thinking they're weird for feeling that way or that they're wrong for feeling that way. You felt that way at some point too. And if you didn't, then you can share a friend's story. You can use third-party validation. So if their objection is, well, I don't really know a lot of people, and you're an extrovert who's well networked and you know everybody, then obviously you're not gonna say, I felt the same way, when they know you know everybody. Okay, so don't say that, but you could use a friend's story. I had this other friend, she thought the same thing. She lived in Ludowici where there was one red light and she didn't know anybody either. And she a diamond now. So you can use somebody else's story. If you didn't feel that way, or if that was not you, then just use third-party validation. Okay, so I'm not a salesperson. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. I actually did another company before like this, and I lost money because I sucked at it, honestly. I wasn't good at sales. And I thought there's no way I could be successful at this either, because sales scared me to death. I just thought I could not do that. But I found that we all sell things every day. Like if something's added value to you, you generally do share about that and then give an example, maybe like shampoo. Or if you had a recent conversation where you told them about a product you loved, then you can use that example. And then you can say, what I found was, we sell things every day. We're always recommending products that we know are going to add value to people. And that's what we do here. We're just sharing products that we know are going to help people in some way. We know these products are going to change their lives. And then I don't have enough time. This is my favorite one, because I have 6 kids. And when somebody tells me that they don't have time, and I have 6 kids and I homeschooled and I grew a business, I really just slightly feel insulted, but I try not to show it. But like, it's just kind of insulting to tell a busy person how busy you are. So anyways, I will just say, I totally get it. I know, really. I felt the same way. I thought between homeschooling and co-ops and field trips and teaching Sunday school and leading the choir at church, and I'm just going to go ahead and list off 20 things that I had to do in this last 2 days. I thought there was no way I could squeeze something like this in. But what I found was that you can make a very significant amount of money in just a little bit of time each day. The key to being successful is not really how much time, it's how consistent you are. If you can consistently do a few simple things every single day, you can make a very significant amount of money, okay? So that's how I handle that. And also, usually when people are saying they don't have time, they're usually producers. So that busy people are my favorite ones to work with, because busy people know how to get things done. They're the movers and shakers. And so I will say, I love busy people. I'm a busy person too. And the reason why I know you'd be successful at this is because you're busy. Since you're busy, I know you got some things figured out in your life. I mean, I don't want people who just got all the time in the world to just sit around and twiddle their thumbs, right? We want the movers and the shakers. We want the producers. Busy people are usually producers. They're the ones that are doing things, okay? And they usually have influence. So we like busy people. So that's how I handle that one. And then the other one was, what was the other one? Oh, I don't know a lot of people. So also my favorite one, because I lived in Ludowici most of the time until about a year ago. I lived in a one red light town in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not even from Ludowici. So that's even harder, because I didn't know anybody there. I just moved there after a divorce, moved in with my parents and my 2 little boys. And then I remarried a man who was from Ludowici, but I didn't know anybody there. So not like there's lots of people to know there, because there's not. I mean, there was less people that lived there than went to my high school. So I didn't know a lot of people either. I've always been a stay-at-home mom. I've never had a career. And so I just wasn't well networked. So I could easily handle that one. If that doesn't sound like you, then you can use my story. But I mean, what I found was that I'm not limited to where I live geographically. Social media has changed everything about the way business is done, about the way money is made. We live in a social economy. And so everybody that's building a business with me at this point, I have met along the way. And so then you can just ask a question, like if I could show you how to meet people or how to make friends and turn friends into family and build a business with them, would that solve a problem for you? Would that interest you? All right, so that's how I'd handle that. So when you ask the question about their interest level, then their objection is going to come up because everybody's got the objection. You handle the objection, and sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. And then their wheels start turning. Well, sometimes they need more follow-up. Most of the time, they need more follow-up because they're still not convinced, okay? And so that's why there's this exposure process. If you've done all of that and they're still not ready to charge hell with a water pistol, then you have more work to do. You just simply continue the exposure process, right? Okay, so you're going to gauge their interest level. If somebody does start saying, well, you know what, you're right, maybe I could do that. Maybe I will use my referral link. I know my mom could use this. I know my sister could use this. And I got a friend who struggles with this. Maybe I could do it. And they're interested in getting their products paid for, then I would probably urge them a little bit further than where they're thinking. So I always gauge someone's interest level, and then I encourage them to think a little bit bigger. If somebody's saying, well, I just would like to get my products paid for, I'm not going straight for the jugular and talking about diamond tomorrow, okay? Because that's going to be scary to people, like it's a turnoff, but you can always encourage people toward the next step. You can always encourage people to think a little bit bigger than they're actually thinking. So if somebody's interested in getting their products paid for, they're interested in that $350, then I'm going to talk about gold. I'm going to say, okay, well, 3, you'll earn this, but if you had 20 actively ordering, you'd be making an average of $1,000 a month. So just keep that in mind. And I can help you do that. And you're not alone. I'm going to support you through it. And I can show you exactly what to say and do to share this with your friends. So you take the fear factor away, because a lot of times people are thinking, well, I would have no clue what to say. She's so smart. She knows all these things about this product. There's no way I could do that. You just encourage them that you're going to support them. You're going to hold their hand, and that you're going to tell them exactly what to say every step of the way. Okay. So if they are saying, yes, I'm interested in the opportunity, I am interested in making money, or yes, I'm going to share with 3 friends using my referral link, that's a really good time to do a 3-way call with your upline. So you want to get them on the phone, do a 3-way call, because this is where third-party validation is very, very effective for casting vision. And Emily, everybody knows Emily's team is killing it. I mean, just crushing it right now, blowing it up over there. And they're doing tons of 3-way calls. And so she's going to come up here right now and tell you exactly what they say on these calls, so that you're not sitting here thinking, 3-way call, that sounds like a foreign concept. And again, I have no idea what to say.
Hey, y'all. I think y'all know me, but I'm Emily, newly senior Ruby, which is really exciting. So thank you, team. But yes, we've been doing lots of 3-way calls, and the reason is they work. They really just work. And for years now, been hearing, if you want to be successful, do what successful people do. So you can watch a million different videos of diamonds, and they will all say, get on the phone with your people. That's what you need to do, because that's where connection is going to be made, right? Connection is super important. Connection is going to keep people above loving their products. It's going to keep people above anything else as a connection they have. So get on the phone with your people, connect with them. You're going to be able to do that way more in a phone call, actually having a conversation, than through texting or even voicemails. I'm a voicemail queen. And I love voicemails, but there's still a lot of things that just won't be conveyed through a voice message. There's also opportunity for somebody to not respond to you in a voice message, okay? And when you're on the phone, people don't have that luxury because they either have to sit there awkwardly or hang up on you. And that would be weird. So we're not going to do that, right? We're going to get on the phone. We're going to have conversations with people, and we're going to dig a little bit, and we're going to cast vision, and we're going to third party validate. Because that is a huge, huge, powerful tool. Because if I'm talking to Jennifer and I'm telling her something, and she's like, yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great. Well, it sounds great. But then if Katie comes along and tells Jennifer the same thing that I said that is also great, now she's thinking it's doubly great. So maybe she really should look at it. Then if Haley comes along and says, Jennifer, this is so good. You really should do this. You should use this shampoo or watch this movie or take these gut health products. Then she's thinking, okay, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 people now that have told me this. Maybe I should look at it or figure out why I'm not looking at it, right? So third party validation is super, super, super important. Also, why I love three-way calls. It's got third and three and it's like all jumbled up. But the reason I love three-way calls is because our team is amazing and our culture is amazing. And there's nothing else like it out there anywhere. We've got something super, super special for people to plug into. And these calls are just a glimpse, a look into what we have here. Because everybody needs this. I didn't know I needed it for sure. I was kind of happy at my house alone with my 2 children, but I didn't have like a, network or a little bubble of friends that we went shopping or went to the beach or went to the movies or any of that stuff. I didn't have it. And I kind of thought I might want it, but I was kind of happy to just be alone and not have drama or, whatever was in my mind that was probably just made up. But this culture has changed my whole world. And so I definitely want to share that with people. So get your people on the phone. They work. That's what successful people do. And just to show you they work, me and Haley ran a little bit of numbers last night. 9 three-way calls over the past month-ish. 6 of those girls are now silver. Okay? Those are powerful statistics. I don't know what a percentage would be on that.
I mean, that's a good one. We'll go with
But
that.
6 out of 9 is really good numbers, right?
Yeah.
That means 66%. 66% of people that we have gotten on the phone are now silver and beyond. We have a gonna be senior gold out of that this month that joined in January. Okay,
January 28th.
very end of January. She's fixing to hit senior gold. 3-way calls. Haley got on a welcome call. She's fixing to be Ruby. They are powerful, y'all. So use them, use them, use them. So what the heck do you say on a call? Well, first of all, you have to get somebody on a call. So how do you do that? Because this is a hang up for a lot of us. It was for me because number one, I did not like talking on the phone at all. That little meme that says, the 10 best ways to contact me and everything, including smoke signals is before talking on the phone. That's me. I didn't enjoy talking on the phone. So I can relate. I still do not thoroughly enjoy talking on the phone, but I do love my welcome calls because I know they're successful and I've seen them work. And I do now enjoy talking to my friends on the phone. So, we're making personal growth, baby steps here. But they work, like Brittney said, everybody can do this. Not everybody will because it takes being uncomfortable. Being on the phone made me uncomfortable. Behind a message, I can type and I can think and I can erase, and I can go and go and go and then finally send something that I feel like, oh, that was perfection, right? You can't do that on the phone. So that made me nervous. And it probably makes a lot of y'all nervous. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. What if they say this? Well, how do I respond? Well, you just jump in the deep end and figure it out. That's really all I can tell you. But we have tools. We have objections, right? We know how to handle them. If you don't, you can learn. So just get familiar with the skills of handling objections, good questions to ask. And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to become. My first welcome calls, probably a train wreck. But they get better and better. And I still have some. We had one the other day and I messaged Haley after and I was like, how was that? Because I felt like a bobblehead, like I was all over the place, and she was like, no, it was great. She probably was not great, but that, you know.
That one's silver too.
Yes,
so
see,
you did
it
fine.
just doesn't matter. Get on the phone, they're effective. But you have to sell the call to your people, okay? And this is not hard. You will have some resistance probably because people are busy, you know? But here's what you say. Haley gets a new joint, Whitney. We did a call with Whitney, and we'll get her, she's talking to Whitney, and she's like, hey, Whitney, I'm so excited you just joined. Listen, I really want you to meet my friend Emily. I want you to hear her story. She got me started. She's helped me so much, and I really would love for you to just talk with her for a few minutes, hear her story, you know, let her answer any questions you have. She's going to be a great added support for you. 15 minutes. Can we do it tomorrow at 6? And that's it. Like, it's not threatening. You're not trying to take an hour and a half of their time, any of that. Just super simple, but you have to sell them on the value of the call. Don't get a new join and say, hey, Jennifer, I'm so glad you joined. My friend Emily wants to talk with you and tell you all the things about Plexus, because they're going to be like, no, sorry, my kid's got a ball game. We don't want that. So just sell them on the value. Make it simple, non-threatening. This is my friend. I love her. She's helped me a ton. I really want you to hear her story because she will be a great help to you too. It's super simple. So that's all it takes to get somebody on the phone. But you get them on there, and then what do? Well, let's just say Haley's bringing me a call. It's her job to introduce us to like start the call. And then that's really all she has to do. Okay. So she's going to bring them on. Hey, Whitney, this is Emily. She's the one I was telling you about. Emily, this is Whitney. She's my friend. She just teaches with me, you know, whatever. Simple little connection. And then I'll come in and take the call from there. Hey, Whitney, I'm so glad to meet you. Haley's told me about you. She's really excited for you to get started. So I'm going to connect at the beginning. You're going to connect. You want to ask some questions. She tells me you're a teacher. What grade do you teach? How long have you been doing that? Just simple. Doesn't mean you don't have to have their dang life history, you know, but just a few simple things, something you can connect with, you know. And then we're going to go from there. So what I'm doing while I'm asking questions is I'm listening to what she's telling me, because probably somewhere in what she's telling me is going to be a pain point or two. Yes, I'm a teacher. I also would like to have more money. Between the lines, she's not going to come out and say, I would like to have more money. Most people aren't going to do that. Or she's going to say, you know, yeah, my husband's a doctor. Well, that's great. She probably doesn't have time with him, you know, like he probably is super busy. So listen between the lines. That's what you're doing during this first just couple of minutes, not very long, 3-4 minutes connecting. And then I always say, all right, thank you for sharing all that with me. I'm so happy to meet you. What I want to do is just share my story with you real quick and then answer any questions you have, if that's okay. Like, get their buy-in on that, because they may not want to hear your story, and I don't know why they would be on the call if they didn't, but get their buy-in. And then I'll share my story super quick, like 2-3 minutes tops. And what I have begun to do over the process of doing these welcome calls is my health story is shorter, and I'm throwing in more of my business story, but mixing it into where it doesn't sound like, hey, let me tell you about all this, you know, business and money that I'm doing, but just kind of different things that it's doing in my life, you know, like, and then bringing in the community with it too, sharing all of these different aspects in one little 2 to 3 minute thing. So we're hitting health, we're hitting finances, we're hitting community, all the things, time freedom. And then when I'm done with my story, I just simply say, do you have any questions for me right now? And sometimes they're like, no. And then you have to kind of, you know, go from there. But most of the time, they do have a question or two. Almost always it's going to be about the products. You know, can I drink 2 pink? I saw somebody drinking 2 pink drinks. Can I do that? You know, and then, you know, just answer that question real quick. And then I will go into my business side of the call without them really even knowing that's exactly what's happening. But a lot of times I ask the same questions Brittney did, and I'll say, listen, I'm just curious, have you ever thought about doing this, what we do? Have you thought about that at all? And they will 98% of the time say, yeah, but almost always. I mean, it's very rare somebody's like, no, absolutely not, never in a million years. It's usually, yeah, but. And it's going to be same three things. Yeah, but I'm not a salesperson. Yeah, but I just don't have time. Yeah, but I don't know anybody. Or, yeah, but I really just need to believe in what I'm doing. I really need my own story first. That's a big one. And so at that point, we handle this objection. And we don't do it by saying, well, you really don't need to believe in what you're doing, or you don't need to have your story. You say, feel, felt, found. Yeah, I totally get that, because I feel the same way. I really need to believe in something that I'm asking other people to come and do with me. We need that belief. I actually did another company before this, and it was jewelry, and I didn't believe in it because I knew that I was going to go to Target and buy this necklace that I was asking them to pay $60 for. I didn't feel good about that. I didn't believe in it. But what I found was these products that everybody in my life needed. And it didn't take long for me to believe in that, because I became passionate about helping people. And so just handle those objections. And then usually after I handle it, I'll say, well, how do you feel about that? This has become my new favorite question. How do you feel about that? And then they'll respond. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, I get that, whatever. And then if they have another objection, we'll answer it. If not, we'll just move forward. And so that's when I will ask them about their dreams. What do they see for their life? And I use a lot of the same stuff that Brittney said. Sometimes I will say, so tell me, if your bank account's busting at the seams, endless resources, you have all the time in the world, what would you spend your days doing? What would your life look like if you had any and everything in the world that you wanted? What would that look like for you? And some people will just say, I have absolutely no idea. Like it's never occurred to them to even think about what they would do if they could do anything. And so at that point, I'm a big dreamer, and I will talk to them about dreams and dreaming bigger. Some people will say, well, yeah, I thought of it. Whitney said, I mean, honestly, I just want to be here on my dairy farm and take care of my parents and, make our farm the best it can. And I'm like, well, Whitney, this is possible. Like everything you just talked about is possible, and it's possible with Plexus, because this can be the vehicle to help you realize your dreams and to live them out. And I can say that with complete confidence because I see it around me all day, every day. And I tell them stories, the Rolodex of stories. I have a best friend who is now home with her 4 kids after teaching all day and all year. And she's, more than 5 times surpassed her income. I see that. I see a homeschool mama from a little town who now has all 5 of her kids in this private school that could probably pay somebody's mortgage, over and over. And she's able to do that now, and she wouldn't have been able to do that. And so share stories, build belief. These calls are about casting vision. That is the number one purpose outside of connection, is just to cast vision and be that third-party validation. And so we talk about their dreams, and then when they tell me, I say, all that's possible, but I want you to dream a little bigger. Like take what you've got there and then go bigger. Think about it. And we just kind of hang out there for a minute, think a minute. And then I'll ask them again, how do you feel about that? Like, would you love to be living your dream life? Well, yeah, of course I would love to be living my dream life. And so I say, well, all this is possible. And I want to tell you about something really great that we have as a company. It's a program for people that want to get started quickly and just want to get a few of their friends on board quickly. If we were to get 3 of your friends on board in your first 30 days, you're looking at almost $400 in your pocket. What would you do with that $400? Where would that go? And then, they'll tell me a little bit. And I say, okay, well, this is doable. How do you feel about it? Do you want to give it a shot? And they'll usually say, I mean, I don't know, maybe. And so we'll kind of, fill them out. Some people are like, not yet, and that's okay. So we'll, kind of end the call, whatever, and continue to plant seeds in our three-way chat that we have going, and along, inviting them to vision casting calls, all the things. Some people are like, yeah, I think I could go ahead and do that. And so they'll say, what does that look like? And so I'll say, well, one thing would be definitely to get you a post up on Facebook. That's a great way to show people what you're doing, that you're excited about it, and expose a lot of people to what you're doing at once. So Facebook posts are a really great way to do that. The other thing would be to talk to some people. We can send Facebook messages, we can call, we can text, whatever you prefer. We've got some great templates that I can help you with. But we definitely want it to be genuine, come from your heart, we're not trying to sell people on anything. We just want people to know that you're excited about something. You think they may be excited about it too. Are they open to hearing about it? It's that simple. I'm excited. I think you'll be excited. Can I tell you about it? That's it. It's not threatening. It's not pushy. It's not salesy, but that's it. And so I'll say, which one of these sounds like what you'd want to do first? People go both ways, messaging or posting. Most people prefer posting, I've found, because I guess it's less invasive, or scary. I'm not sure. But, and so at that point, I'm saying, okay, well, great. Once we hop off the phone, Haley's going to start a chat with us, and we'll send you some great samples, some templates, and you can use them as is. You can tweak them, or you can use them as inspiration to write your own post. A lot of people do that. We'll throw up a cute picture with it and go from there. We can help you. What I want you to know from this is we're here for you every step of the way. You're never, ever alone in it. And we have a team full of resources and a super, super simple system to help you be successful, because that's what we want, is for you to be successful. Because all these dreams you talked about, and I always bring it back to dreams, all these dreams you talk about, this is the way to make them happen. This is a vehicle to make them a reality. And I'm excited for you. Let's go. Woohoo! The cheerleader in me comes out that point. But let's go, let's go, let's do this. We've done it. We're doing it. You can do it too. Anybody can do it. And that's it. I mean, it's really simple, and it probably is scary the first few times. But the good thing about welcome calls is you're learning while your new person is learning. So your new person is having big vision cast for them. You are also building your belief while you're on the call, but you're also learning how to do a call. So I'm doing calls with Haley. She's learning because she's hearing me. Well, that way, when Whitney or Katie or Haley or whoever brings her calls, she's going to then know how to do the call herself for her people. So it's a double thing. It's not just benefiting you and your level one and her new person, but then she's going to be able to take the call and duplicate it with her people. They'll be able to take it and duplicate it with their people. It's very simple duplication. And without duplication, you don't have a business. Like, you just don't have a long-term business. So if you're scared to get on the call, do it anyways. You will not die, I promise, because I'm not dead. Definitely not dead. But just get on the calls, do it, because we do what successful people do. And this is what it is. Get on the phone with your people. 6 out of 9 are silver. That's a big number. So that's all I have.
Awesome. It was so good, Emily. That's so inspiring. Did y'all see how she used Feel Felt Found?
Yep.
She was like, if you're scared to get on the phone, I understand how you feel. Now y'all are all thinking, oh, I want to get on that phone. 66%. I like that number. All right, so that was so good, Emily. And I also love how you asked open-ended questions. Try to avoid yes or no questions. Because if you're asking a yes or no question, then guess what you're going to get? A yes or no, right? But if you're asking questions that are open-ended that make them think, like you say something heavy that they probably have not thought of before, and then you pause, and then this is also probably why Emily's very effective at these calls, because she's a great listener. But you pause and you just say, What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Or she said, how do you feel about that? I always say, what are your thoughts on that? And that's when their objections come up, or you can tell their wheels are turning. So always ask open-ended questions. But yes, very, very good. So I built my whole business on three-way calls, y'all. My whole business on three-way calls. So a lot of times people want to know, well, I got a level 1, they're working, and I want to keep them excited. How do I keep them excited? I don't want them to quit. You don't just create workers. You create workers under your workers, because there's nothing more exciting to your level 1 than when they have somebody who wants to work the business with them. So as a leader, this is a leadership tool. I mean, it really is. If you are supporting your level 1 by doing three-way calls with them and their people, and offering that support in third-party validation, casting vision, handling objections, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You are training your level 1, because they're then going to go duplicate it, but also you're helping that level 1 get a business builder too. So that's how you keep your workers excited, is create workers under them. And then they go off and do the same thing. All right. So now, if you've gone through this whole process of you've shared the opportunity with them, you've handled their objections, you've even got them on a three-way call, and they're still not working the business, then what do? You continue the exposure process. You will invite them to an event. You can plant seeds along the way. Like, you just don't ever give up on somebody's potential. And I don't mean it in a pushy way, and it doesn't even have to be once a week. But I mean, following up after that looks like this. Popping in to say, you know what, and last time we talked, I was at this place, and I know the timing wasn't right for you then, but I just want you to know that since we talked, I just hit this rank, or this person on my team just achieved this, or they just won that prize, or they just did this, or whatever. Since we last talked, this is what's happened. This is the success that's happened. And I know you can do that, because you have these qualities. You remind them again, you compliment them again about what it is you see in them that makes you think they could do it. All right, so you just continue that exposure process, and you continue it forever until they either say, leave me alone, don't ever mention places to me again. And if they're your close friend, then you just ignore that, and you still anyway, or you just keep following up unless they really strongly want you to stop and they make that known, or until they start working the business with you, because most people just don't realize their own potential. A lot of times, and I know this is true for me, it takes a leader to come along and believe in somebody's potential before they even see it in themselves. And Fallon Black, she's my sponsor. She's also a diamond. And I'm telling you what, if it was not for her belief in me, I would not be standing here as a diamond. I would not, because I did not think I could do it. I thought, I'm just a little wussy girl who homeschools and doesn't know anybody and is an introvert and has no sales skills. But she really believed I could do it. And so I'm forever grateful for that. So be that person who believes in somebody. Be that person, because you don't know whose life you're going to impact. You don't know who God's going to put in your path, who really does need this. All right, so continue the exposure process. All right, last thing, we'll close out with this. Don't be emotionally attached. People will sense if you are emotionally attached. I don't care how much they look like a diamond. If you get excited about them being a diamond before they've decided they're going to be a diamond, that is a turn off, and people sense it every time. Okay, so you cannot be emotionally attached to the outcome, period. It does not matter who it is. It's never okay to be emotionally attached to the outcome. For people, sometimes people get turned off by network marketers for this reason. But this is where the pressure comes. This is when people feel like you're being pushy or salesy, when they sense that you are emotionally attached, and then they feel pressure. Nobody wants to feel pressure. So the person that you know, that you think, oh, that's going to be the person on my jewel team, probably ain't going to be it. I'm just telling you. That's not usually how it works. People surprise you. I have lots of people on my team that I thought were going to be absolute rock stars and then did nothing. They didn't have the grit that it takes, because in this business, you have to be gritty. I mean, you really do. The only way to not be a diamond is to quit. But most people are going to quit before they realize their potential. before they get to the success, they just give up. Okay, so some people do that. Like people with influence have done that. But then I have other people who I thought this person's going to be to this or to that or to whatever, fill in the blank, to want to do this, and then they surprise the heck out of me. So don't prejudge anybody, and do not be emotionally attached to anybody. Okay. Don't ever make somebody feel like you need them in order for you to be successful, because that is what people don't want to be a part of. If you are focused on them and how this opportunity can impact them, and you have no emotional attachment to how it affects you at all, I mean, obviously, I don't expect you to turn a blind eye. It is exciting if somebody catches the vision and wants to run and do this with you. That is very exciting. I'm not saying don't be excited if that happens. I'm saying don't put the cart before the horse. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. How else do I need to say that? Don't get excited before it's time to get excited. Be excited about what this could mean for them, but don't communicate excitement over what it's going to mean for you. Okay. I'll tell you when it is okay to be emotionally attached. As a leader, you can be emotionally attached. These ladies over here on the wall, Jana, Senior Ruby on my team, emotionally attached. I am emotionally invested. If you quit, I know where you live, girl. Michelle, on the verge of Sapphire. I am emotionally attached. Emily just hit Senior Ruby. I am emotionally attached, and it is it's so rewarding to see your leader stand up here when you have worked together for years and years and years. You get your families together, you build relationships. You're not just building a business together, you're building a life together, and you see that person struggle, and then you see that person overcome, and then you know you've had an impact and you've been a part of that. You can be emotionally attached. Then it's okay. And there will come a time where that will be you. I mean, you don't, God's going to provide the people that are supposed to be in your path. And you got to be willing to work. If you're asking for God to move a mountain, be prepared to wake up next to a shovel. You definitely have to be willing to work. But God knows who needs to be under your mentorship. And every single one of you has value to add to somebody who's going to be in your path. And you just have to be willing to focus on them and open your mouth and share with them what this could mean for them. And don't be so worried about yourself and what they're going to think of you, because you don't know whose life you're going to change. You just have no idea. I never could have imagined the impact that our team has created. Never could have imagined. So I'm emotionally attached, but it's okay to be at this point, but not before they say, I'm going to be a doctor. Okay. All right. We'll close out with that. Thank you for coming. Anybody got questions?
I want to add something I forgot. So when I get off the call, I usually, no matter really what they're, unless they were a hard
Come
one.
up here so for this recording.
So when I get done with these calls, usually, unless somebody's a hard no for the business, I will almost always go in our chat, in our little three-way chat, and say something like, I know we talked about fast start, but I just wanted to show you this because sometimes it's easier if you can see numbers. So fast start math is really fun, and I just wanted to show you this. And so I will show them the fast start income graphic, what this can mean for them, and just kind of type it out. Because some people, when they hear it on the phone, it just, they've heard a lot right at that point, and it may not hit them. But when they see these numbers in front of them and they say, well, that number is like 200, and then it goes to 500, and then it goes to 700. I might need to take a look at this. So that a lot of times will inspire more questions and activity.
And that's just another exposure.
Yes, it is another
way
exposure.
to expose them.
Yeah.
So you're showing them the whole fast
Oh,
start
yeah.
from to really
Yes.
perfection.
Yes.
Not just the graphic.
Yeah. So I'll do like the silver math. Here's what silver, whatever. Your first 3 people, I don't usually say silver, but your first 3 people, because we want to keep it in language that they understand, right? Your first 3 people, that's what this would look like. And then just, it just goes from there. So just know this first level, not where it stops. Can totally keep going. And sometimes you're gonna have people that on the phone will just, be hesitant, but you can hear it in their voice. They are thinking like wheels are turning, and you send them a little math, and next thing you know, 2 days later, they're silver. Haley, and then it just kind of goes from there. So don't be scared to do things like that. Your posture and your belief on these calls and the follow up to the calls is everything. Build your belief, have super strong posture, because it's gonna shine. So that's all I have.
I put, Emily made a graphic, and so I put that in our coastal Georgia chat that has all the numbers.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's it.
That was great.
I'm working on one for the actual average incomes. That's on my list for all, so they'll match. Because I like things to match. So that's it.
Thank y'all for coming. We need to stop this recording.
Yeah.
Somebody push stop on that.
Oh, yeah. You wanna, she was asking me if we wanted to just mention about the onboarding thing that we've got in the works. Just so they kind of know.
The guy?
when to expect it, yeah.
Okay, so we're, you can stop it.
There you go.
Did you stop the recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I'll stop video.
So if you go to Flex's Freedom Team, you'll see at the top, there's tabs. One of them says, what does it say?